Hey GotBot, it's me Grimlock.
Hi Grimlock. What are you doing here?
You know what me Grimlock like best?
I don't know. What do you Grimlock like best?
Me Grimlock like me Grimlock best.
That sounds a little conceited.
Me like original me Grimlock best.
What are you talking about? Oh, wait! I think you're talking about this guy.
About time you understood.
You're funny, Grimlock. Let's take you. We're going to take a look today at the vintage G1 Grimlock in the latest GotBot True Review. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. It's great to have you here. And please, by all means, check me, your host, Dennis Fulton, aka GotBot, out everywhere. Have a look at Machinery of Men, the Everything Factor. Peruse the page and see what playlist videos, strike your fancy. And of course, like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff. Here's where it all started, and Grimlock is one of those characters that is beloved by so many for so many different reasons. He has had third-party incarnations, he's been in animated, we've seen the movie-verse version of this guy, everything. And it all started here, leader of the Dinobots, and he even has, his little seat in the back, because if I'm not mistaken, he was based on, maybe it was Diaclone dinosaur things? I think so. Maybe somebody can clarify that for me. Mine is a little worse for the wear. He's not 100%. I don't have his gun or his sword, though he did certainly come with it. The chrome has worn on his arms. Weird. Yeah, has worn on his arms, but you know what? It's Grimlock. 10. And it's also worn, of course, the chrome is worn on his tail. But 10, there's no doubt 10. Although that being said, even as a kid, I always wanted his eyes to be blue, not red. Some people prefer the red, and that's cool too. Pain daps, like I said, 10. In this mode, the legs can go forward and back. His little arms can move. You just saw that his head can move up and down and his mouth can open. Pretty good articulation, to be honest with you, for what it is. Pretty impressive. And of course, you just saw him next to one of his more modern day incarnations. I would say the one that is really most true to his G1 self. Moving him here, we bring the Generations one back in. Maybe not the best version, but we had a deluxe size one. I never dug that. I didn't think it was Grimlock. We've had ones from animated. They are certainly interesting, but that too is a different take. The Robots in Disguise line has a completely different take on Grimlock, and the movie verse again a completely different take. So while we could include third parties and of course the masterpiece and say, hey, that is the truest representation of this guy. In terms of like mainline stuff, in terms of what would be accessible to most people, or would have been, I guess, accessible to most people, I think that this guy does a pretty decent job, though people complain and say he's too small. A lot of people say that this guy should have been a leader class. I don't agree. I think that would be too big. Maybe I'm wrong, but I never felt like, as big as Grimlock was, I never quite felt like he was as big as, say, Jetfire, or Skyfire, if you will, who I really do feel like is fitting in correctly with the leader class size. I kind of feel like Grimlock here should have been, he's one of those guys who should have been between Voyager and leader. But of course we take what we get, and I kind of dig this size class for him. But that is another story for another day. Actually, I guess I should say was another story for another day, because I took a look at him and actually compared him to the Age of Extinction Voyager class version way back in episode 65. It was the start of a Dinobot series that I did. Anyway, sticking with this guy, let's jump into transformation. We'll talk a little bit more about his posability, playability then. By the way, I forgot to point out, he even has knees in his dinosaur mode because they are his elbows. So really good articulation in Dino Mode, to be honest with you. How do we transform Grimlock? Well, we begin, as we so often do with Grimlock, by splitting his tail. And we take his legs and we should be able to bend them down. And now he can kind of stand up. Sort of stand up. We take his upper body and we detach the head, if it will detach. Now I have to be honest, my head is cracked and in rough shape, so I'm trying to be a little bit delicate with it here. But you should be able to detach the head and bring it all the way back. I'll bring this out a bit. Detach the head and bring it all the way back. Open up his chest, wings, I guess. Take this whole section that is his dinosaur stomach and you hinge it out and you bring it up and you hinge it back in. And we're almost done. We're almost done with Grimlock now. Next, we'll hold his arms out because they are loose. We'll take the leg out to the side, and there's a little hinge up right here on his hip. You bend it down, and you bend it down. So you leave a little bit of a black piece out here to the side. We close up his arm. I'm surprised. I'm sorry. When I showed you his knee in Dino Mode, I said that was his elbow in Robot Mode. It's not, because we actually collapse the arms. That brings out the fists. And in the end, boom, there you go. We have Grimlock in Dino Mode. He does not stand the best because he is very back heavy with his head hanging off there. So he does like to fall back. I feel like he used to stand a bit better, to be honest with you. Maybe part of that is age. But in terms of articulation, of course, the Dinobots came out a little bit later than some of the really early stuff. The head doesn't move. The arms can go up and down. No out to the side. Nothing at the wrist. But the legs, getting the arms out of the way, the legs go all the way out, splits all the way out to the side. Bring those down. No forward, no back. But we did get a very deep knee. So honestly, I would say that his articulation, because of what he can do in both modes, honestly, I think we're looking at a good solid 8.5, maybe even a 9. Really good articulation for the time. Now, it might be 5, possibly, if we're being generous with him. Transformation is fun and easy, but yet interesting, like especially how this chest piece comes up and how we bring the legs out on the side. So that being the case, I'm going to give his transformation about an 8. About an 8. It's pretty good. His sword, his gun, they would go in his hands. But yeah, I absolutely love the guy. Now I'm just going to lay him down for a second because we're going to bring in his update. And here we go. Now, I will say this. The update is still a little bit off because it's actually more based on his appearance in the War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron game. Now, I did do some custom paint work on Grimlock. See if I can bring these guys up closer. I did do some custom paint work on Grimlock, adding the red on his abdomen and the black on his thighs to make him look more G1 accurate. Now, I think it worked pretty good. I think it's certainly better than what it was. But I'm happy with the original, and I'm happy with the update. Overall score for Grimlock, you know what? He was a 9. He was a pretty fantastic figure. Anyway. Thanks for taking a step back in yesteryear with me. You know that I always enjoy it, and I enjoy having you here. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together for another visit right here inside the videos.